I have learned silence from the talkative, toleration from the intolerant, and kindness from the unkind. Yet, strange, I am ungrateful to those teachers. A good teacher can inspire hope, ignite the imagination, and instill a love of learning. A teacher who is attempting to teach without inspiring the pupil with a desire to learn is hammering on cold iron. Good teachers know how to bring out the best in students. An investment in knowledge pays the best interest. Change is the end result of all true learning. Education is the passport to the future, for tomorrow belongs to those who prepare for it today. The roots of education are bitter, but the fruit is sweet. The more that you read, the more things you will know. The more that you learn, the more places you'll go. Live as if you were to die tomorrow. Learn as if you were to live forever. The learning process continues until the day you die. Education is not the filling of a pail, but the lighting of a fire. Develop a passion for learning. If you do, you will never cease to grow. Education is not preparation for life. Education is life itself. They know enough who know how to learn. Education is the ability to listen to almost anything without losing your temper or your self-confidence. They cannot stop me. I will get my education if it is in the home, school, or...
Good evening, everybody. Could you please confirm if I'm audible? Please put a yes in the chat. All right, okay. Good evening once again. Thank you all for registering and attending this International Online Faculty Development Program on outcome-based education and application of generative AI in teaching and research, organized by the Internet Quality Assurance Cell, IQAC, of Carmel College Autonomous Mala, Thrissur, in association with the Collegiate Education Department, Government of Kerala. Today, we would like to welcome the resource person, Dr. Mendes Jacob, Professor and Director at MCA Marine College, Kottakanam Autonomous, MD and CEO, IPSA Solutions Limited. And we would like to welcome all the FDP participants of today. Now, about this FDP, this is a one-week FDP program with live sessions from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. And we are actually on our fourth day of our FDP. Now, fee for the LMS access and processing of certificate is rupees 400. All the participants who have paid the processing fee will receive the LMS access, the video recordings for all the days, and the provision to download your FTP completion certificate. The procedure for receiving the certificate will be informed to you towards the end of the FTP. If any of you are yet to make the payment, you can make the payment of rupees 400 to the account details that is I have already put in the chat. If you are unable to attend any of the live session, recording will be available in the LMS. Now, we have shared the LMS access details through email to those who have shared the payment proof in WhatsApp till yesterday. Those who have shared the payment proof in WhatsApp today will receive the LMS access detailed mail by later in the day or by tomorrow. Now, if you have any trouble in attending the WebEx online session, you can also join the YouTube live session, the link of which I've put in the chat already. Now, my name is Sujin Jacob George. I'm working as Global Relations Manager with IPSA Solutions Limited, and I will be the event moderator. Now, coming on to today's session, today's FDP technical session, the topic is going to be mapping of outcomes, calculation of attainment, and analytical reports, ICT tools for OBE. Well, this is going to be delivered by Dr. Mendes Jacob, Professor and Director, MCA Marine College, Kottakanam Autonomous. Dr. Mendes Jacob is an academician and an entrepreneur with 35 plus years of experience and is the former director of School of Applicable Mathematics, MG University. He is a PhD in operations research and has to his credit a number of national and international publications and guided PhD students in mathematics and computer science. He is also the CEO of IPISA Solutions Limited, an IT company supporting higher education institutions in the implementation of outcome-based education and innovative teaching, learning, and assessment strategies. He is part of the team which has trained more than 30,000 faculty members on outcome-based education pan-India. Over to you, sir.
I'm audible now?
Yes.
Thank you. Good evening to the fourth day's section of this outcome faculty development program. Actually, for the first 2-3 days, we were discussing about the basic concepts. And I hope the last day section was an eye-opening for all of us faculty members. That was a section on underlying threats of OBE. And we have gone through the basic concepts, how to design outcomes, the Bloom's taxonomy in detail. So today we will be going the technical side, how we can calculate the attainment once the design the outcomes and all. So we will discuss about that process, and I will definitely show you some tools and some analytics which will be useful for accreditation. Probably tomorrow we will have another section on the accreditation, OBE for accreditation. That means OBE implementation of OBE will help institutions for the accreditation purpose. Okay, I will start sharing my screen. Okay. I will start with the course outcomes. Actually, the second day, Dr. Sunil Job has detailed discussion on how the outcomes can be designed. For today, we are discussing the attainment calculation. For that purpose, we need the outcomes, how it is designed, and the mapping process. So just I will go through some of the slides. Everybody knows what is meant by a course outcome. The course outcome, actually, they are the resultant knowledge and skills the student acquires at the end of a course. It defines the cognitive processes a course provides. So COs are major domain-specific outcomes written using action verbs. There also we are using action verbs from Bloom's taxonomy, which are specific, measurable, and can be demonstrated by students on completion of the course. So once if you design a course outcome for a course, suppose we may have 4 or 5 course outcomes usually for a particular course. Once if you design the outcomes, then as a faculty, our goal is to attain the outcomes by the students. Okay. And for that purpose, we used to conduct many activities, many teaching learning activities. And towards the end, we conduct the final assessment. And in between, we have the formative assessment. And finally, we have the semester end examination. Okay. So that is the process once if you design the course outcomes. So according to the curriculum design, I think all of you might have gone through that process. So we have the syllabus and we have the course outcomes, we have the course plan, we have the assessments, all these things are there in the curriculum. This is an example of a course outcome. This is actually a template for writing a course outcome. We start again with the action verb, as I mentioned earlier. This is only an example of a particular subject called graph theory. I'm teaching graph theory for computer science students. So this is one of my outcomes. Apply graph representations and algorithms in computer science. That is a contest. That means we start with the action verb, then the content or topic to be learned. That is the second part. And third, the contest. So this is the way we will be designing an outcome. Okay. And this outcome is of level 3. That means this apply level outcome. So according to Bloom's taxonomy levels, this is level 3 outcome. Okay. Now these are some sample outcomes. I think already Dr. Sunil Job has mentioned all these things. I will skip. And now coming to the mapping process. This is very important because when we do the calculation, attainment calculation, we start with the mapping process. Okay. So there are 2 levels of mapping. Level 1 is CO-PO mapping or CO-PSO mapping. So for your subject, your program, you have the program outcomes. And again, program specific outcomes. Okay. These are higher order outcomes. POs and PSOs, program outcomes and program specific outcomes. So the course outcomes will be mapping with the POs and PSOs. I'll explain the process, how the mapping can be done. So this is level 1 mapping, CO-PO mapping and the CO-PSO mapping. Then we have the level 2 mapping, that is the activities, teaching learning activities or the assessments, which we can map with the different course outcomes. For example, if we have a course with the 5 course outcomes, and for that particular course, we'll be conducting a lot of teaching learning activities in the class. Maybe we are giving them assignments, there may be seminars or some other innovative activities. All these activities we can map with that particular course outcome. Suppose course outcome number 1 is mapped with the module 1. So what all activities we conduct for the module 1 or unit 1 of the syllabus, we can map with this course outcome number 1. The same way to CO2, CO3, etc. If there are 5 course outcomes, we can map all these activities with the different course outcomes. Okay. Now, assessment in OBE, the final assessment is done by the estimation of program outcome and program specific outcomes, which will serve as a profile of the students' competencies. Okay. That means we will be calculating the PO attainment, program outcome attainment, and PSO attainment at the end of the program. If it is a 3-year program, we will calculate the final calculation of PO will be done at the end of the program. And POs and PSOs are estimated from the component of COs related to the respective PO and PSO. We are not directly calculating the attainment of POs and PSOs, but we will be calculating the attainment of COs. And from COs, since it is mapped with the PO and PSO, we will be calculating the attainment of PO and PSO. COs are estimated from the component, learning outcome of the activity related to the course. Each CO we can estimate like this. So the first step in the process is to determine the mapping of the related components and determining the strength of mapping between lower order and higher order outcomes. Okay, that we will explain with an example. Then it will be more clear. Now, we need a mapping scale for the mapping process. And this is a standardized mapping scale used by almost all the institutions in India. This is a 4-point scale. You can see 0, 1, 2, 3. The weightage is 0, 1, 2, 3. And the relationship nil, low, moderate, or significant. Okay. So that means if there is no relationship between an activity and a CO, the weightage is 0. Then the mapping strength is 0. There is no relationship between a assessment, a question in the question paper and a CO. Again, the weightage is 0. That means no relationship. If there is low relationship, we can give a weightage of 1. And a moderate relationship, we can give a weightage of 2. And finally, for significant relationship between an activity and a CO, we can give the weightage 3. So as I mentioned earlier, this is a 4-point scale. Then percentage of attainment. If the student is scoring only 0% mark, then the weightage is 0. And from 1 to 50%, the weightage is 1. 51 to 70%, the weightage is 2. And 71 to 100%, the weightage is 3. This is an interval we can customize also. According to the institution policy, we can change that intervals. Okay. But this is only an example of an interval. I have put it here. And you can see if the student is scoring between 1 to 50%, that is low attainment. We can say low attainment. So the weightage is 1. Similarly for 51 to 70% and 71 to 100%. Now, we will explain this mapping process with an example. Now, I have given a course outcome here. So we had a section on Bloom's taxonomy the first day. And of course, you have discussed the insights of the Bloom's taxonomy on the last day, on Saturday. So we had a section on Bloom's taxonomy. Suppose I have designed an outcome for Bloom's taxonomy. For this particular section on Bloom's taxonomy, this is my outcome. On completion of this course, the participants will be able to apply the Bloom's taxonomy in framing questions. On completion of this course, the participants will be able to apply the Bloom's taxonomy in framing questions. So this is one of my course outcome for this Bloom's taxonomy course. Okay, so my goal is all the participants who are attending this FDP, for example, should be able to apply Bloom's taxonomy in framing questions for their course. Okay, this is my goal as a faculty. Okay, and for this purpose, we have conducted the sections. Of course, there was a task. We have gone through that task, and every participant should be able to apply Bloom's taxonomy now. That is my goal. Okay. So what is the level of this course outcome? Can you respond to that through the chat? What is the level of this course outcome? So I have written one course outcome here. Yeah. Apply. Yeah, correct. So this is an apply level course outcome. The level of the course outcome is apply, level 3. Okay. Now, so as I mentioned earlier, as a faculty, my goal is all the participants should be able to apply Bloom's taxonomy in framing questions. That is my goal. And for that purpose, we have conducted the different activities. The sections was there. Some tasks were there. Now, finally, I want to assess whether all the participants have attained that outcome. Okay. So as a faculty, I have set the goal. Now I want to assess whether all the participants have attained that outcome. So we have conducted different levels of activities. It's okay, fine. And finally, suppose I have an exam. We call it substantive exam or something like that. And in my question paper, there are maybe 10 or 15 questions. And this is my first question in the question paper. Explain the different levels of learning at cognitive level. Suppose this is my first question in the question paper. And suppose all the participants are scoring 100% mark for this particular question. Can I assume that my course outcome is attained by all the faculty members, all the participants? What is your opinion? No. So my first question in the question paper is this one: explain the different levels of learning at cognitive level. And my question is, suppose everybody is getting 100% mark. Can I assume that my course outcome is attained by all the participants? It's no. Why it is no? Because what is the level of this question? Yeah, this can be understand level question, or even it is only a remember level question. No, from memory, they can write the answer for this. The student can answer the question? Okay. So it is a remember level question only. And my course outcome is apply level. That is a problem. Okay, fine. My second question in the question paper is, using Bloom's taxonomy, prepare an analyze level question in the subject. So that is my second question in the question paper. What is the level of this question, the second question? Any idea? What is the level of the second question? Fourth level, that means analyze. Okay. Why it is analyze? Using Bloom's taxonomy, prepare an analyze level question in the subject. That means you are using Bloom's taxonomy. You are using Bloom's taxonomy to prepare a question. So you are applying Bloom's taxonomy to prepare an analyze level question. Okay. So that's only apply level. It's not analyze level. You're preparing and you're framing an analyze level question, but you're using Bloom's taxonomy. You're applying Bloom's taxonomy. Okay. Suppose it is an apply level question. Then what about my course outcome? Suppose all the participants are getting 100% mark for this second question also. Then can I assume that this course outcome is attained, at least the question level, according to that particular question? Can I assume that the CO is fully attained by every faculty with respect to that particular question? Yeah, it is yes, because this is an apply level question. My CO is also apply level. My CO is also apply level. That means if a particular participant can answer this question, getting full mark for this second question means the participant is able to apply Bloom's taxonomy. That was my goal. My course outcome is same. Okay. Then one more question I have. Suppose this is my third question in the question paper. What is the level of this question? What is the level of this third question? Okay. Test and analyze level 2. Okay. Okay. So this is not understand and this is not create. This is actually analyze level question. This is an analyze level question. Because we are asked to analyze the given set of questions, the given set of questions in the question paper. That means it's analyze level question. Okay. And that is a task you are given the task, the LMS. You have to consider one of your old question papers, and there is an Excel template, and you can analyze that question paper. Okay, so this is an analyze level question. Again, my CO is apply level. My course outcome is apply level, and my CO is analyze level. Again, if a particular participant is getting 100% for this particular question, 100% mark for question number 3. So can I assume that with respect to that question, my CO is attained by that participant? Once more, I will repeat. Suppose a participant is getting 100% mark for the third question. Can I assume that my course outcome is attained with respect to that question by the participant. Yes or no? Okay. Getting yes, no's. So what is the correct answer? Yes or no? Yes. Okay. Yeah. Why it is so? Because Bloom's taxonomy is a hierarchical model. Learning happens in a continuum. That means if a participant is able to analyze something, then obviously analyze is one level higher than apply level. Okay. Now I think this part is clear. Now, as I mentioned earlier, we have to map all the activities and all the assessments with the CO, course outcomes. So I have a CO here. Now I have displayed 4 questions of my question paper. So what about the first question? Suppose we consider the first question as level 1, K1, Romper level. And my CO is level 3. So what should be the mapping scale? If I want to map level 1 question number 1 here, to my CO, what should be the mapping strength? Can you suggest? It's a 4-point scale, 0, 1, 2, 3. So what mapping strength I should give? Question number 1 to CO. My CO is level 3. My question is level 1. Any further suggestions? Any other suggestions? Okay, it's 1. Why it is 1? Because there is some relationship between that question and the CO. Otherwise, it will be 0. So in this case, there is some relationship that is 1, and is the level of the question is 2 level below the level of the CO. What about the question number 2? What should be the mapping strength? We have 0, 1, 2, 3. That is a 4-point scale. So question number 2 is level 3 question. My CO is also level 3. Of course, mapping strength is 3. I think it's clear for you. Yeah. Mapping strength is 3 because it's perfectly matching. The question is apply level, level 3. CO is also apply level. What about question number 3? What about question number 3? It's an analyze level, level 4 question. I have to map with the level 3 CO. And the mapping scale is a 4-point scale. That means 0, 1, 2, 3. The highest is 3 only. 0, 1, 2, 3. Highest is 3. Okay. It is again 3 in this case also because the level of the question is level 4, when CO is only level 3. Now I think you are clear with the mapping process. So with this example, the same way we can do the mapping with the all the assessments, all the questions you can map with the different COs once the CO is designed. Okay. Now, do you have any queries related to what we have discussed here? Because I'm expecting 2-3 questions now. My CO is level 3, and I have 3 questions in the question paper now. Maybe I have 10 or 15 or 25 questions. I have displayed only 3 questions. One is of level 1, the other one is level 3, and the last one is of level 4. So do you have any questions regarding this mapping or related to these questions or a CO, anything else? I'm expecting 2-3 questions. No questions? Then I will ask you a question. My CO is level 3. Dr. Ragi has asked creative. I don't understand what it is. I will rate for 0. 0 means if there is no relationship between a question and a CO. Say, for example, that I will explain. Okay. Then any other questions? Okay. What about the other levels of taxonomy? Okay, of course, other levels can be there. See, for example, if I have a level 5 question in this case, okay, or if I have a level 2 question in this case, level 2 question, an understand level question, and my CO is apply level. So if my question is level 2 and my CO is level 3, so what should be the mapping strength? You can suggest. Okay, not able to unmute for definitely we will give you time later for otherwise no. Once if you unmute, everybody will ask questions. That will create some noise. That's a problem. Okay. This is one question. What about the other levels of taxonomy? As I mentioned earlier, suppose there is an understand level question in this case. That means the question level of the question is level 2 and the CO is level 3. So level 2 question mapping with a level 3 CO. What should be the mapping strength? You can suggest. Level 2 question. Yeah, level 2 question mapped with a level 3 CO. 2. Of course, that is correct. Then level 5 question mapped with the level 3 CO. That is another case. And a create level question mapped with the level 3 CO. These are the 2-3 options. Yeah, definitely it will be 3. If it's a higher order, it will be 3. Now, my question is why we are asking that level 4 question here? Because our CO is only level 3. Okay. Do you have any doubt regarding that one? Definitely, that might be a question from at least from some of your participants. We have a question there on the analyze level. The question number 3 is analyze level, but our CO is only apply level. Okay, actually, asking an analyze level or higher order question than a CO is meaningless. We should not ask questions like this because our CO we have fixed at apply level. That means that is a benchmark we have set. That is the benchmark we have set. Then why you are asking a higher order question there? Because we want to check whether the student has attained apply level. Because we have set the CO like that. Otherwise, we have designed a wrong CO. Our CO designing process was not correct. That is the problem. Okay. I will explain in detail. We can design the CO in 2 ways. One is the horizontal way of designing a CO. Other one is the vertical way of designing a CO. A horizontal way means if your syllabus consists of different units or modules, whatever it is, maybe in some cases you have the syllabus consists of different units, 4 or 5 units. Some other cases, your syllabus may be consisting of modules. Okay. And you can design CO unit-wise or module-wise. That means for unit 1, you can have a CO. Unit 2, you can have a CO. Likewise, unit 5, you can have the 5th CO or module-wise. So that is the horizontal way of designing a CO. Otherwise, we can design the CO vertical. That means for the entire syllabus, you can have 4 or 5 course outcomes. So there may be some overlapping in that case. Okay. So then we design the CO. Suppose for unit 1 or module 1, the syllabus. The CO means what the students be able to do, what the students can should be able to do after completing that particular module or unit. Okay. If we are teaching them to apply some concept, then the CO should be of apply level. If you are teaching the students to analyze some concept there, your CO should be of analyze level. That's the benchmark we used to set there. No? Okay. So once if you design the CO, then as a faculty, our goal is all the students should attain that outcome. Okay. For that purpose, we are conducting activities and finally the assessment. So you are going to assess the student whether that particular student has attained that course outcome, that particular course outcome. If it is apply level, then your question should be less than apply level or less than apply level. Okay, that is the case. Again, asking the first question, that may be another doubt. The first question, suppose it is a remember level question. So why you are asking a remember level question when your CO is apply level? Of course, we'll give you the answer. Yeah, one way of looking at it, for a particular course, when we conduct exams, we have the maximum mark, maybe 100 maybe the maximum mark in some case, or 50 maybe a maximum mark. We are not expecting that every student is getting 100% mark. So that we will fix a pass mark, pass percentage 40%, or a first class 60%, or something like that. Okay, that means we are not assuming that every student will be getting 100% mark. The same way, when we set the course outcomes, we can fix a target. We can fix a target like 50% or 60%. That means we are expecting that the 60% attainment of outcome by majority of the students of the batch, 60% attainment by say 70 or 80% of the students of that batch. That is enough. So in that case, even if you ask a low order question, the attainment may come down. But to address the slow learners, you need the low order questions. Okay. And the best way of answering this problem, or as a best practice, what we can do is we can have a bunch system. A bunch system, that is a best practice. That means a particular question may be consisting of 10 marks. And if your course outcome is apply level, then in that particular question, you can split it into A, B, or C, where if the total mark is 10 mark for a particular question, then if it is apply level, the CO is apply level, 5 mark you can dedicate for apply level question, and 2 mark for remember level and 3 mark for understand level. So that the total 10 marks, if a particular student score the 100% mark, that means 10 mark full CO attainment in that case. So that is as a best practice, you can adopt a bunch system. Okay. If you want to get the details later, we can discuss it. But usually this is the case with the question paper patterns. We may have 20 or 25 questions in the question paper. And there may be 1 mark question, 2 mark question, different types of questions will be there. And in that case, you may have low order taxonomy levels, higher order taxonomy levels, all type of questions will be there. So this is the mapping process. I think this is clear for all of you. Okay. So 2 things are very important. One, the first case, designing of CO. When we design the CO, we should focus on the student, what he can do after completing that particular module or a unit or that particular course. That should be your course outcome. Again, framing questions. Once if you set the course outcome, design the course outcome, then it is meaningless to ask a higher order question than the CO. Okay. Whereas you can ask a lower order question to address different types of students. Okay, so that's about mapping. I think the mapping process is clear for all of you. Shall we proceed? Okay. So this is another example again. I will leave it because I think the process is clear for all of you. So after the mapping process, we will get a table like this. Each question mapped with the course outcomes. You'll get the weightage there, the table. Okay. Then coming to the CO-PO mapping. So we have discussed the level 2 mapping. That means assessments or activities mapped with the course outcomes. Now, how the CO can be mapped with a PO? Okay, this is a process. See, suppose we have a PO. You identify the competencies of that PO. What are the competencies related to that PO? Already you have discussed the POs. Suppose if you consider communication skills as a graduate attribute, you can convert it into a PO. How you are going to convert it into a PO? First of all, you will be identifying the attributes related to, the competencies related to that particular graduate attribute, communication skills. For example, if you take communication skills, what are the competencies the student should be able to read, write, comprehend, or listen? Okay, or use modern technologies for communication. These are the competencies. We can list down the competencies of that PO and consider one course outcome. A course outcome means there is an action verb and a learning statement. And how many of these competencies are addressed by a particular CO? Okay. If more than 40% of the competencies are addressed by a particular CO, you can give the weightage 3, the highest weighted mapping strength. Between 25% and 40%, weightage 2. Between 25% and 5%, weightage 1. And less than 5%, 0. So this is a process suggested by All India Council of Technical Education, ICT. So this is the process actually. But by experience, as a faculty, you can do it. See, for example, it's just like a paper valuation. Maybe for the first 10 papers, you need more time. The remaining papers, you will complete it less time. Okay. The same way, by experience, you can understand that mapping strength. How much related a CO is with a PO. Okay. That is the mapping strength. Okay. I hope it is clear. After the mapping process, we'll get a table like this. All the COs mapped with the different POs. 0, 1, 2, 3, the mapping strength. For example, in this case, CO1 mapped with the PO1 with the weightage 2. PO2 again weightage 2. CO1 to PO3. The weightage is 0. That means there is no relationship between that CO and PO. Okay. The same way, you can do the CO-PSO mapping. The same case. Here you have more relationship because PSO means it's more related to that particular program. So the courses may be more related to that PSO. So that's about the mapping process. I hope it is clear. If you have any further doubts regarding the mapping process, you may ask now. You can put in the chat box. Otherwise, we will go to the next section, that is the attainment calculation. Okay. Okay, then we'll go to the next section. So now we will discuss how the attainment calculation can be done. So all these things already discussed by the previous speakers, the definition of OBE. So this is the paradigm shift from the traditional system versus the OBE. The traditional system, it is teacher-centric, whereas in the OBE, it is student-centric. Traditional system, it's importance on teaching and content, whereas in OBE, importance on learning and process. Traditional system, knowledge-driven and rote learning, whereas the OBE, learning ensures knowledge and performance. So the main difference is in OBE, it is student-centric. Okay. That is a paradigm shift. And as a faculty, before going to the class, we used to think like this, no? what should I teach in my section? What should I teach? For that purpose, we'll be preparing some notes or we'll be referring some books. But according to the OBE philosophy, as a faculty, we should think like this. What should my students be able to do with what they learned in my section? What should my students be able to do with what they learn? Okay. I think most of you have seen this one in the internet. Okay. You can see how the learning happens. This is a pyramid. The bottom of the pyramid, you can see 90% of that learning happens when we teach others. As a faculty, we are sure that we got the in-depth knowledge after we started teaching in our subject. So when we teach others, 90% learning will happen. Practice doing, 75% learning will happen. Through discussions, again, 50%. And you go to the top of the pyramid, you can see only 5% learning happens through lecturing. Okay. This is a research study. So that means we have to reduce our lecturing and focus more on the other activities. Especially we have the projects or internship or discussions, flipped classrooms. All these activities can be incorporated when we implement outcome-based education. So more learning should happen. Okay. And what are the three pillars of a professional or a what are the qualities of a great teacher? I ask a question like this, how will you answer it? What are the qualities of a great teacher? What are the attributes of a great teacher? I'm not getting any response. All of you are great teachers. Yeah. Understand the learner. Okay. Dedication. Passionate, creative, empathetic, facilitator. Yeah. What about communication skills? Yeah, patience, friend, sympathy, empathy should be there. Okay. Communication skills should be there. It should be a mentor. Okay. Okay, if you can list down the attributes, maybe 30 or 40 attributes you can list down. Understanding the level of students and make them understand. So we can list down a lot of attributes like this. Can you classify them into three categories? We broadly classify all these attributes into three categories. What are they? You classify them into three broad categories. It will come under ask, attitude, skill, and knowledge. Attitude, skill, knowledge. So these are the three pillars of a professional. And this you have discussed in the first section. In Bloom's taxonomy, there are three domains. One is the cognitive domain, that is more important in this case. Cognitive domain represents knowledge. Affective domain represents attitude. Psychomotor domain represents skill. So attitude, affective domain, skill, psychomotor domain, and knowledge, cognitive domain. Okay. So our POs, these are the PO program outcomes suggested by NPA. There are 12 attributes. You can broadly divide it into knowledge, attitude, and skill. One more is their habit, lifelong learning. And there are UGC has also suggested some graduate attributes. There are 15 graduate attributes suggested by UGC. Okay. So we have to calculate the attainment of these graduate attributes that will serve as the profile of a student or student competencies, we can say. Okay. So all these attributes means they fall under these 3 domains of Bloom's taxonomy. Okay. So now we are going to calculate the attainment. So out of 3, what is the attainment of a particular student in each of these attributes? That is what we are going to calculate. Let's explain the process. For that purpose, I have this program outcomes. These are graduate attributes. These are the program outcomes of our institution, Marine College, Kutikana, where we have 9 POs. These are actually graduate attributes. These are converted into POs, starting from domain knowledge, and the last one is self-directed and lifelong learning. Now, for this demo purpose, I'm using a PSO, again of a BCA program. This I have taken from the internet. There are 5 PSOs. Then the course outcomes. Again, I have taken it from internet. There are 5 course outcomes. There are some activities like outreach or industrial visit. These can be some activities for semester 1. Similarly, every semester we may have different activities. So these activities also we can map with the different POs or PSOs, activity outcomes, just like course outcomes. For outcome-based evaluation, that means for attainment calculation, there will be a predefined mapping scale. There should be a predefined mapping scale that already we have discussed, that mapping scale. Direct and indirect assessment methods may be used in preset proportions. That means for direct assessment and indirect assessments, we can use, and there should be a proportion of it. Here, direct assessments means all the assessments conducted by the institution or the faculty that belong to the direct assessment group. Whereas indirect assessment means the assessments conducted by an external agency, a third party. It can be an industry or an external agency. Then components of assessment may be substantive examinations we have, regular internal assessments, other innovative continuous assessments, activities, events, personality assessments. All this can contribute to the attainment calculation. So if we can have n number of activities, especially when we implement outcome-based education, we should have more activities, more assessments. Then only the attainment calculation will be more accurate. Then questions in semester and examination get mapped to different COs. Already we have discussed how the questions can be mapped with the course outcomes. Other components like assignment or seminar, that we can map with the different outcomes. For the rubric level also we can map it. COs are in turn mapped to POs and PSOs. COs we can map with the POs and PSOs. Already we have discussed that also. General activities may also be mapped to POs and PSOs. CO attainments can be tabulated at the end of each semester. Already we have mentioned that. CO attainment at the end of the course semester. And PO attainment and PSO attainment at the end of the program. So this is the mapping scale. Already we have discussed. This is the mapping scale we'll be using for this demo purpose. The CO-PO mapping we can do like this for each course. We may have different course outcomes and mapping with the POs. So this is the sample program matrix for OBE. That means for a particular program, suppose we have a 3-year program, that means 6 semesters. For a 4-year program, that means 8 semesters are there. And each semester on average, we have 5 courses. That means in 8 semesters, 40 courses will be there. 40 courses. And for each course, suppose we have 5 course outcomes, average. That means 40 into 5, 200 course outcomes will be there. You can see the first column here, all the 200 course outcomes listed in the first column. And the second column, some of these course outcomes may be mapped with the PO1 with the different weightage. Third column number 3 means PO2. Some of these course outcomes may be mapped with the PO2. So all those course outcomes mapped with this PO2 is listed there in the third column, and the weightage is also given there. The same way for PSO and PSO. So this will be the program articulation matrix. We call it sample program matrix or program articulation matrix for this particular program. So if it is a 3-year program, definitely there may be 30 courses, 30 into 5, 150 course outcomes will be there. So this is a one-time activity by the faculty. You can do it in the beginning of the semester. Maybe if you spend one full day in the department, you can do the entire process for the 3-year or 4-year in one single day. You can do the mapping. Okay. Then this is CEO linked assessment plan. It's only an example. In your case, your assessment may be different. So here I have a course with 60% weightage for a final exam and 40% for continuous assessment. I have different components like seminar mapped with the CO1, assignment mapped with the CO2, video presentation mapped with the CO3. That means I will be giving the seminar from a particular topics, which is mapped with the CO1. So in that way, we have exam 1, that is an internal exam, exam 2, exam 3. Marks are also given there. Okay. So as a faculty, in the beginning of the semester, once we follow OBE curriculum, definitely we have to design a CEO linked assessment plan. That means every CEO should be properly addressed. Okay. And the final exam, 60% marks. And we have the question paper, all the questions, or the entire syllabus will be covered for the final exam. That is why it is mapped with all the CUs. Because we have questions from all the modules, all the units. Okay. So this is the way we can design a CEO linked assessment plan. Once the CEO linked assessment plan is over, we can start conducting the assessments. See, in this case, we are calculating the attainment of a student X, one student. Seminar, out of 4. Suppose the student is getting 40% score. It's getting 40% score according to our interval. We have mentioned an interval, 0% from 1 to 50%. Weightage is 1. 51 to 70% weightage is 2. And from 71 to 100%, weightage is 3. That mapping scale already we have discussed. So in this case, 40% means from 1 to 50%, the attainment is 1. That is the last column. Similarly, for all the assessments, the score is given, and based on the score, attainment for that particular activity. Here we are not considering final exam because that we'll discuss later. So these were the continuous assessments. Okay. Now seminar is mapped with the CO1, and exam1 is also mapped with the CO1. That means here the attainment is 1 for seminar, and exam 1 it is 2. So the total attainment is 1 plus 2 divided by 2. Okay. The second case, CO2, 3 is the attainment for assignment. Here for group activity again 3. Exam 1 again 2. That means 3 plus 3 plus 2 divided by 3 in that case. Take the average. So you will get the attainment for the continuous assessment of a particular student X. Okay. Now we are going to calculate the attainment of for the final exam, semester exam. In this case, suppose we have 25 questions in the question paper. Suppose there are 25 questions. And out of 25 questions, some of the questions may be mapped with the CO1. Some of the questions may be mapped with the CO2. We have already discussed how we can map a question with a CO. Okay. So suppose if there are 5 course outcomes, average 5 questions will be mapped with one CO. Now here, out of these 25 questions, I am picking those questions which are mapped with the course outcome number 1. Those questions which are mapped with the course outcome number 1. Question number 1, 16, 18, 23, and 25. These are the 5 questions which are mapped with the CO1. Okay. So I am picking those questions for calculating the CO1 attainment. Now you can see the second column, third column, and fourth column there is a weightage. Can somebody say what it is? the third column. Sorry, the fourth column, what it is. What is the fourth column? Any idea? The first column, the question numbers. Second column, of course, the marks scored by that particular student for each question. I'm asking what is the fourth column? What it represents? Based on scale means any suggestions? I'm asking about the last column, the fourth column. High level, low level, medium. Yeah, that is correct. High level, low level, medium. That values are there, but I will tell you. The fourth column means question number 1 mapped with the CO1 with a weightage 2. Okay, because all these questions are already mapped with the different COs. Question number 16 mapped with the CO1 with a weightage 3. Already we have discussed the questions, how it can be mapped with the COs. Okay. Now, third column, it's very simple. For the first question, the student got 100% mark. So question level attainment is 3. Question number 16, the student got 75% mark. Again, 3, because from 71 to 100%, the weightage is 3. That is the reason. Now, here we are taking the weighted average for calculating the CO1 attainment. 3 into 2 plus 3 into 3, etc. Divided by 2 plus 3 plus 1 plus 2 plus 3. So it is 2.09. This is CO1 attainment for the final exam. Already we have calculated the attainment for a continuous assessment. Now, this value is for the final exam. Now, for calculating the attainment, we can fix the ratio. See, for how much weightage we have to give for continuous assessment, how much weightage we have to give for final exam. So, for proper implementation of outcome-based education, we need more continuous assessments. Okay, that means the semester exam means only one exam. Whereas in continuous assessments, we have a lot of assessment activities like assignment or seminar or many activities are there. So for attainment calculation, we can give more weightage for continuous assessment. It's not in the mark list. It will not be reflected in the mark list. The mark list, the actual proportion will be there, but only for attainment calculation, we can give more weightage for continuous assessment. Here I have given 80% weightage for continuous assessment, 20% for the final exam, for calculating the final attainment. So we'll get the attainment like this, CO attainment. Then we will get, sorry. Now we have to consider direct and indirect assessments. At this point of time, we have calculated the direct assessment, attainment using direct assessment. Indirect assessment means it can be a survey or it can be an assessment by a third party. So we can conduct a course and survey where we can ask the student, in your opinion, what is your attainment? Okay, suppose the student respond like this, for CO1, 2, CO2, 2, etc. So we have to consider that value. And in this case, we can give a 20% weightage or even 10% weightage is enough for an indirect assessment. And the 80% or 90% weightage we can give for direct assessment. So we can calculate that value here. This is the CO attainment. So for each student, we have to calculate it like this. And manually, it is not possible. I think some of you may be using a tool. I will also explain it with a tool. Then it will be more clear. So every student can calculate attainment like this. Then you can calculate the average value, all these things. All these analytics I will explain later. The same way the PO calculation. Once if you calculate the CO, the attainment of CO, PO and PSO attainment can be calculated like this. Already the COs are mapped with the POs, different POs. CO1, 2 into 2.12. 2.12 is the CO1 attainment, 2 is the mapping strength. The last row, you take the weighted average, you will get the PO1 attainment. Similarly, PO2 attainment. So a lot of calculation is there, but this is the process. Then the direct and indirect assessment for PO calculation. That for each student, we have to calculate. The same way PO and PSO can be calculated. So this is the process. Now I'll explain it with a tool that will help you understand it in the better way. Okay. I hope my screen is visible.
Yes, sir. Yes.
So this is actually a tool we have developed for calculating the attainment. It's very simple. This is the faculty login where all the courses taught by that faculty is visible. I will just start with the one course. Okay. The first step is the faculty has to upload the course outcomes. It's only sample of course outcomes. Can upload the course outcomes, then set the target. We can start with a 50% or 60% target. So here you can see the target for each course outcome. You can upload the course outcome along with the target. Then the mapping process can be done here. CO-PO mapping. Each PO is already uploaded. The mapping is completed here. You can see each CO mapped with the different POs with weightage 0, 1, 2, 3, etc. That mapping strength is given. The same way CO-PSO mapping can be done. After that, you can go to this tab where you can see how the COs are distributed. See, for example, PO1. Here it is domain knowledge. You can see more number of course outcomes are mapped with the PO1. Whereas PO2, only 2 course outcomes are mapped with the PO2. Okay. So, similarly, there is another PO, only 2 COs are mapped. So you can identify those program outcomes which are not properly represented by course outcomes. If a particular PO is not properly represented by course outcomes, then you can have some ad hoc course letter to that PO. Or you can revisit again the course outcome and you can check whether more COs can be mapped with that PO. Okay. And after that, the components, as I mentioned earlier, a CO linked assessment plan you can do. If you are using a question bank or some software like that, automatically that can be uploaded here so that no need of again mapping this question with the taxonomy level and the COs. This is already mapped. You can see each question from which taxonomy it is and to which CO it is mapped. Then you can see an assignment. This is an assignment. It's a room level assignment. It can be mapped with the 2 COs here. another assignment you can see where we have a rubrics for evaluation of that assignment. The criteria for evaluation is there, or rubrics. And each rubrics we can map with the taxonomy levels and the COs. So all the CO linked assessment plan we have to design, and all these assessments we can map with the different COs. This is the mapping process. And then you conduct the assessments. You can conduct the assessments and you can upload the mark. There's a template where you can upload the mark. Excel template is there. Once you can upload the mark, you'll get the attainment. So there is no manual calculation. The process is very simple. Start with uploading the course outcomes, the target, then COPO mapping. Check whether the mapping is proper. Then the assessments, different assessments you can conduct, and you can upload the marks, you will get the attainment like this. This is an example of each student, the course outcomes are given. CO1 attainment, first column, then average, CO2 attainment, etc. For the entire class, you will get the attainment of the students. This is the values out of 3. Okay. Then you will get some reports also like this. See, for example, CO1, we have fixed the target as 60%, CO2 60%, again CO3 60, likewise. Target is given there, average attainment is given, the standard deviation, and you can see the percentage of attainment. The CO1, 90% of the students have attained that 60% target. Okay, 90% of the students have attained 60% target in that case. CO2, 90% again of the batch have attained that 60% target. Whereas CO3, only less percentage of the students have achieved that target. In that case, we can have another activity. We can have an OBE only activity or assessment, which will count for attainment calculation, so that we can bring every student to a desired level. We can call it assurance of learning. Especially this is useful for accreditation purpose. This data is also useful. So we can say that we can claim that assurance of learning concept. That means for every student who is joining the institution, we are assuring them a certain level of attainment of the outcome. Okay. So these reports are useful for that. Same way, PO attainment. You'll out of 3, you'll get it. PSO attainment, again, you'll get it. All these values are out of 3. Okay. Then the HOD login, you will get some other reports. For example, I will show you some of the reports. This is a progression report. You can see an yellow color and a yellow line and a blue line. The blue line represents a batch performance, whereas the yellow line represents a particular student's performance in this case. So you can see how the batch is performing semester-wise and how the student is performing. So you can see the comparison also. This is useful for PTA meetings. You can convince the parents how their children is performing in comparison with the batch. And also you can identify those students so that you can have some remedial measures. We'll get some other report like this is the report. This is the performance of a particular student the second semester compared to the first semester. Second semester compared to the first semester, that means more upward trends are there, the second semester. Whereas if you go to the third semester for the same student, there are more downward trends are there. Okay, so we can identify those students. They will be, they will come in the outlays report. Okay, so that means there may be some problem with the family problem, or there may be a person problem for the student, or some problems with a particular subject. So that's why his performance is coming down. Okay, such students can be identified and we can take it remedial measures. This also we can mention the accreditation process, how you are identifying slow learners and advanced learners, how you are identifying the outliers. For example, you will get reports like this each semester, the slow learners, the outliers also, that report you will get. Based on this, we can have some remedial measures. So these are some of the reports we will get if we properly input the data. So that's very important. If we properly input the data, because nowadays, wherever we go, usually even starting with the assessment, like framing questions is also very important. Some of the faculty, at least they think that most of their questions are of higher order, but actually they are not of higher order. So that is also important when we mapping the questions with the CEOs. Proper mapping should be done. Then only we'll get an accurate data like this. Okay. Rather than the calculation of attainment, it's more important that we should follow the processes. So understand the concepts and following the process is very important. So that's about this attainment calculation. Just go through the learning management system. After that, if you have any doubts, you can ask. This is a learning management system. You have a lot of content available here. The recorded videos are there. There is a part that called doubts and suggestions. I will share it separately. You can ask any doubt there. There are some tasks and the tasks are also available. Lot of reference materials available here, like education tools, reference materials. There is an OBE manual draft. Then for ChatGPT prompt engineering, there are some videos available. So videos are also available. Okay. So just go through the content, and we have some tasks for today. And again, I will share another Padlet. This you can post your doubts, or if you want any clarifications regarding any of the topics, you can post it here. Some of them are posted their feedback. Actually, this is not meant for feedback. This is for doubts and suggestions. And if there's some particular feedback you can give, that also is okay. But it's better if you can post your doubts there. We'll share this in the chat box. This is a Padlet you can use, and you can ask your doubts there so that we can clarify it. Maybe you may have doubts in any of the topics discussed earlier. That also we can post it. Maybe tomorrow we will discuss the doubts. Then I will explain today's task. Okay. This is one of the task: formulation of assessment questions with respect to a course outcome and finding the mapping strength. Yeah. So what you can do is pick a topic from the course for which you have written course outcome. So you might have a course outcome for your course. Then write assessment questions from the topic that addresses the course outcome at the level provided in the table. Also find out the mapping strength of the assessment question to the selected course outcome. That means you can select a course outcome and we can write it here. Then the rubric level, you can have an assessment question based on that particular topic. And what should be the mapping strength? You can write the course outcome there. The question also here. And looking at the level of the question and the level of the CO, you can give the mapping strength. Same course outcome or a different course outcome, you can write here, and you can frame an understanding level question, apply level, analyze level question each. And you can give the mapping strength there. Mapping strength is 0, 1, 2, 3. So that is one task. Another one is this Excel sheet. This is a CO computation Excel sheet. Only just for your understanding. You cannot use it for your course. Only for an understanding level of how the CO can be calculated, attainment can be calculated. The first sheet, you can see there are 3 sheets here. The first one, you can write the course outcomes, or no need of writing course outcomes. CO1, CO2, the number is given. So you know what are the course outcomes. So even if you don't write the course outcomes, it's okay. Then the questions. Suppose you can pick one of your question papers, both internal or external. If there are 10 questions in the question paper, question number 1, mapped with which CO? You can give the mapping strength here. Suppose it is mapped with the CO1 with weightage 1. You can give weightage 1. Otherwise, by default, it is 0. Weightage 1. Okay. Like this. If one question is mapped with more than one CO, that also you can put it there. And the marks for that particular question. Question number 1, what is the mark that you can give here? So you can pick 10 questions or 15 questions, and you can give the mapping strength and the maximum marks for that particular question. So this is what you have to do. No need of writing course outcomes. CO numbers is enough. Question numbers is enough. No need of writing the question. Otherwise, if you write it, it's okay, fine. Then map with the different CEOs. Then the maximum mark also you have to put it there. Then the second sheet, roll number of 10 students. Roll number 1. No. If you write the name of the students, it's okay, fine. Otherwise, the roll number is enough. And in this sheet, for each question, what is the marks for each student? If you are selecting 10 students, roll number 1. For question number 1, if it is a 1 mark question, the student is getting full mark, you can put 1 mark like this. Then we can give the target. Each CO, 50% or 60%, whatever. You can write number of students. We are choosing 10, so it's 10. That's enough. And the third sheet, you will get an analysis, the attainment and the analysis. No need of adding anything in the third sheet. Only the first sheet and second sheet, you have to add the data. So this is another task. So we have 2 tasks for you. Okay. So that's about today's section. And if you have any doubts, you can put it in the chat box. Otherwise, as I mentioned earlier, the Padlet also you can put your doubts. Tomorrow we will discuss whatever doubts you put in there till today's section. This is the 4th day. If you have any doubts regarding any of the topics discussed earlier also, you can put it in the Padlet. We will discuss tomorrow. Okay. Any questions or any suggestions?
If you have any questions to Medessa, please post it in the chat and we'll take it.
There's a question from the YouTube. I'm joining regularly using YouTube. Will attendance be considered? Please reply. Yeah, attendance, you can put, there is a feedback link provided in the YouTube chat also. And again, you're using, if you're using the LMS, definitely the attendance is recorded in the LMS also. Track any kind of faulty mapping. Okay. There is some flexibility for the faculty, because through experience, we have to do the proper mapping. Usually what we can do is, for the COPO mapping, as I mentioned earlier, as a best practice, you can spend one full day, the beginning of the semester. And for the entire program, you can do it. The department, you can discuss, and the department council can do it. Everything through discussions, because there is autonomy for the faculty. When we discuss about OBE, definitely a lot of autonomy is there, flexibility is there. The only goal is to attain the outcome by the students. All your activities, all your assessment should be focused towards the outcome attainment. Okay, then I think we can end up. So thank you for all of you for your questions, understanding. Tomorrow we will continue with this. We will discuss about some how OBE is useful for accreditation purpose. We discussed that, and again, an outcome-based academic research. That is another section. Tomorrow you have 2 sessions. Okay. So thank you once again. Thank you and good night.
Thank you, Mendes sir. Thank you for that wonderful session. Now we will move on to the vote of thanks that is going to be given by Ms. Amrita A.V., IQAC member and faculty, Department of Commerce. Over to you, ma'am.
Sir, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Good evening, everyone. It is my honor to deliver vote of thanks for today's insightful session on mapping of outcomes, calculation of attainment and analytical reports, ICT tools for OBE by the distinguished guest, Dr. Mentis Jacob. First and foremost, I would like to express our deepest gratitude to Dr. Mentis Jacob for sharing his wealth of knowledge and expertise with us today. Your ability to simplify the explanation of outcome mapping and outcome-based evaluation has been truly remarkable. Thank you, Zah, for your invaluable contribution. A special word of thanks to the organizing team, Dr. Sister Rini Raphael, Principal, Ms. Mary Phillip, IQAC Coordinator, Carmel College Autonomous Mala, for their efforts in making this program a success. We also extend our gratitude to the Collegiate Education Department, Government of Kerala, for their continuous support and collaboration. Our heartfelt thanks to the IPSR Solution for the technical support throughout the program. Lastly, I would like to thank all the participants for your active engagement and thoughtful questions. Your participation have made this session truly interactive and meaningful. Thank you all once again, and I wish you all a peaceful and restful night. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Amrita, for that wonderful vote of thanks. We will end for today. Tomorrow, we'll have the session on outcome-based academic research by Dr. Kamal Shah, and OB for accreditation and roadhead AI-assisted assessments by Dr. Mentis Jacob. So tomorrow, we have 2 sessions. We will start at 7 p.m. Sharp. Please be on time. Thank you, and have a wonderful evening.